And I just started the recording, but we are going to allow a few more minutes. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. We also have Terry. Hi, Terry. And hi, Carsten. Hello, Alberto. We're going to wait a few more minutes for people to join. This one. This one.
Testing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi, Koi.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
No. Thanks, Terry.
Oh. There's a conf room joining. Let's see. I should have put some music.
Yeah, I would give it a little time where people are probably trying to figure out where to go.
Oh yes, but it was. I actually liked that. Well, Bruno and also Alberto were able to join, hopefully easily. Okay. Yeah, you should have probably placed a timer and some music. Anyway, let's see. I think we had about 10 external attendees who registered. So I think we'll give them another minute or two before we start. to see if they can join, and they may have had problems locating the phone numbers, etc. So. Okay. Okay. I think we're 5 past. We just get started, and some other people may join, but I guess they'll catch up from where we are. And we are recording this meeting, so it will be available for those who want to hear it later. Thanks everyone for attending our first open source localization call. Just briefly, the agenda here is a short intro to the program. I will do for the morning session, morning Pacific time, for this session, and Terry, my coworker Terry Shang, will do it for the Pacific time afternoon session, where then we'll roll into some information, more detailed information, where to find it, and where to find recognitions for those who contributed. What are the current projects and achievements, and then hopefully get some feedback from you on the communication. How do we communicate? Is it appropriate? Are we using the channel that you prefer, or do you have other preferred channels? And do we communicate with the cadence that you like, or you would like more information or less information? Also, we would like to know then, if you're interested in any future topics provided by some engineering team members, maybe on VS Code or other, especially related to these open source projects, and then any Q&A you may have. The second part of the meeting, so the second 30 minutes, are going to be about a Transifex workshop by Koi. So we split it this way so that if you're already an expert in Transifex, and it's up to you whether you want to stay for the whole session or you want to drop after the first half hour. He has good tips, so I recommend you stay until the end, but up to you. So generally speaking, as an introduction to the program, you may already be aware, but we're all talking about all the projects we're talking about are open sourced. So the code is open source, and therefore the localization is also open sourced. And the reason, obviously, as you can contribute to the code, and that is something you can do, and it's open. We also wanted to make sure that anyone interested in helping translate those projects would do so in the easiest way possible, and for the benefit of the end user of those products. A lot of people don't speak English as well as we do, and they enjoy using translated a product in their language, and so even if it's open source, we thought about supporting this initiative to make sure that our customers worldwide would be able to use those and enjoy using those products as well. And the reason, as you may know, we're using a specific tool, a third-party tool called Transifex to run this localization project. And the reason and why are we not doing it in GitHub? We're not doing it there because it's not easy to manage translation as if it were code. So it's not as easy to go and change all the strings, the localized strings, or provide new ones in code in the GitHub project. Plus, there are a lot of errors that can happen, strings being overwritten by different check-ins, and so it's really hard to manage. So we thought about using a specific platform for this. The nice thing about this platform in particular is also that it's very convenient because it can manage crowdsourced localization, meaning that it enables the community itself to decide which one is the best translation. And this is done through voting. So you can provide feedback on the best translation or the one you like the most, or suggest a better translation, or vote for an existing one. It's very easy to start. There we have a lot more info on this page, which we're going to look at in a second. And basically, you just create your free account in Transifex, request with providing very little personal data, or you can even put like fake data, I guess. And then you request access to one of the available projects. It's automatically accepted and just start contributing. Again, I repeat myself, but I just want to make sure that it's clear that translating is obviously a big, it's one part of the work, and the other part is voting. Just someone providing a translation and no one voting for it will actually not produce a translation. Where do we find more info? On our Wiki landing page, which is this one, provides a lot of information around what are the main projects, the current projects. Has a section on news and events, like this first conference call, and has all the if there are any upcoming releases, they may be listed here. It also provides some information about our YouTube channel, where some of our contributors, our community members, in this case Bruno and Roberto, provided some videos about their experience in supporting this initiative. We have a Stars of the Month section, which is updated every month, of course, and has the top 3 contributors across all projects. Obviously, only a few days ago there were other people here, but we don't forget about those because they are part of they stay basically in the list of contributors for each individual project. These are just the top 3 for the past month. And we also have a list of channels. We have a Facebook page, a LinkedIn account, a Twitter account, a Github channel that could be used to have two-way type of conversation. WeChat group. Well, then there's also our YouTube channel and Transifex, of course. If you're, in case something is missing or you don't see your preferred, tool for communication, of course, feel free to let us know. In this page, just going back to a slide 1 sec, to make sure I haven't forgotten about anything. In this page, you can also find other more detailed information about the projects themselves, like VS Code, and how you can contribute on the single project, and the cadence, etc. All the more detailed information about this project, and possibly sub-projects that are created. For technical reasons, some of the projects have been split in sub-projects, and so in the VS Code case, we have VS Code editor, workbench, extension, and setup. And not necessarily all languages are supported in all 4 projects. One can also request new languages, but you'll see more about that in the Transifex workshop. The list of active projects is also quite interesting. Here you can see you have the link to the individual projects in Transifex, but you also have the links to the Github projects, so where they are, where the source code is, basically. And also a link to the Transifex discussion area for this project. It's actually a very little known feature that Transifex has. It could be interesting to use it to have kind of two-way communication among the community who's involved in the translation for each of these projects. But it's not very visible in the user interface, and so it's easy to miss. If you want to give it a try, feel free to. Here you'll find the link, and I'm sure Koi will also mention it. Another very interesting feature that was recently added is a dashboard. In here, it basically exposes a Power BI interface, a Power BI set of reports, and if you scroll down this Power BI, actually, let me widen it. You will see for each project a page with a report, and this is the SQL Tools on Linux project, and where we are with each language translated versus to be translated. Here there are 2 sub-projects, API Service and SQL Server Extension, and here you can find the list of contributors for each language. So let me pick, say, Spanish, and here we got the top contributors for a specific language. If you scroll further, you have Visual Studio Code with all the languages, the sub-projects and the various languages. And here, specifically for VS Code, we also added additional languages that were requested by the community, and great job in particular by the Brazilian and Turkish and Hungarian communities here, because they were able to reach, at least in the VS Code editor, the 100%, and well, the Turkish and Brazilian also 100% in all other projects. So very soon you're going to be able to see those languages in the next build of VS Code. Thanks very much for that. And again, all the contributors overall, and same for Team Explorer everywhere for all the languages. Here also there are 3 additional languages that were not available originally, and so we're starting the work to translate from the beginning, and so that's why it takes a lot of effort here for Spanish, Korean, and Russian, and obviously we can use some help there. And here you can see also how the community has grown over time. It seems like there's a really good pace. We're almost at 400 contributors and community members. So really, really exciting. So statistic dashboard, and if you think something is missing from the landing page there, or missing links or missing information, feel free to let us know, because that's what we want to hear. Just a brief overview about the OSS projects that are active and the current achievements. You've also seen an overview already through the stats. The SQL Tools on Linux projects is basically the Visual Studio, a VS Code SQL Server extension, which is called MS SQL for Visual Studio Code, and it's a cross-platform open source extension for SQL Server, Azure SQL, and SQL Data Warehouse. It was released in 10 languages earlier in May, and the cadence can vary. The release cadence can vary between 4 and 8 weeks. It's not as fixed as Visual Studio Code, for instance. It's about the project is about 450 words and plus 1600 for the API. API is just a server-side component. The project, both projects together had 113 collaborators there across all languages. But this was released, and I think it was the first project that we started working on. So we didn't know. It was kind of our first pilot. And so it was very interesting. The Team Explorer Everywhere, you may know, it's the official TFS and VSTS plugin for Eclipse. And with the community help, it's already released in 6 languages. It's a bigger project. It's about 37,000 words and had so far 64 collaborators. It was released in 6, as you have seen also in the charts. We're trying to release in 3 more languages because they were requested by the community. But it's a big project, and on the other hand, we're not seeing a lot of progress. So if you have any interest in that topic, feel free to spread the word and be engaged. The Visual Studio Code almost need no, I don't think it needs a lot of presentation. It's our open source development environment, which has become very popular. I think it's one of the most active open source projects on GitHub, according to GitHub. 3,500 strings, so not huge, about 25,000 words. There are more than 200 community members there and counting, so they're increasing every day, and more than 20 super active community members who contributed more than 200 words every month. 18 languages enabled in Transifex, and 200 new. So here it's released on a monthly cadence, and every month, usually based on statistics from April and May, there are 200 to 300 new strings. And again, with your help, with the community help, we've already released it twice in April and May. So it was actually a great result. If anyone, feel free to interrupt and intervene or add or ask questions as you see fit. In this section, we would like to ask you, all of you, especially those of you who are, who have already been involved in the translation process, if you have any comment or feedback on the communication side. So we normally, for individual communication, one-to-one, we usually use the Transifex email channel. And for announcements, so one-to-many, we use, again, Transifex, the announcement feature, and social channels like Twitter or the Wiki. And for group communication, like two-way communication, we normally would use the Facebook page or our Gitter channel, which again you can find on the Wiki landing page. And I think the questions are, are you okay with that? How can we improve? Do you have other preferred channels that are not there? That type of feedback we'd be very interested into hearing. And also around the cadence. Usually we update on a bi-weekly base or monthly, depending also on the release cadence. And sometimes we have call to actions, so like announcements when they are needed. So let's say Visual Studio Code releases next week. It's not the case, but assuming, and we see that we're still missing some words in some languages, we would tweet about it and send out an announcement on the Transifex channels to try to incite people, encourage people to contribute to get to 100% translation before the build is started. And then, just as a kind of a side note, if you are interested in any topics that you would hear, more in-depth news and conversations and information about some of these projects directly from the engineering team, would be happy to try to provide you with that if we know what you're interested in. So feel free to let us know if you're interested on any specific topic, and we'll try to bring some of the engineering team members to provide you that type of information. So if you have any, obviously, if you have any comment, feedback right now, feel free to ping IM. People are checking, or request or through the microphone. Or obviously, if you don't have any particular feedback or request now, you can always contact us at this email address, plus all the the channels that we've seen on the main landing page, on the wiki page.
Aldo, I have Bruno here. I have two things. One is about Transifex. It's a little bit difficult to know what I didn't touch in Transifex and what I need to do in Transifex. For example, I go to Transifex, the projects are scattered, and I don't know which projects have strings to translate. I go there, I must check the whole list, and I go to the bottom of the list, and I see the projects that need some strings to translate, and then I go to the project that has sub-projects, and then I go there and I find, yes, this one has some strings to translate. Okay, I go there, I translate the strings, or I vote on the strings. Then I go back to see if there is another project. The list is completely different. I don't know if I touch on some kind, because there is nothing that says that I have voted or I have done the translation and it needs the second vote. For example, I go here, VS platform. There are two untranslated strings. I go there, I translate them. They are still there as untranslated, but it isn't showing me that I translated the strings.
Yeah. Just one sec. It's yeah, and I think others are also agreeing. Thank you, Bruno, for that comment. I think it's a common comment an issue. Do you want to, Koi, will you go through this also during your presentation?
Sure, I will answer that question to Bruno and the rest of the audience in the Transifex session.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Bruno, do you have the second question? Is the second question related to Transifex as well?
Yes and no, because I have installed VS Code Insiders, and I was seeing the translation, the Portuguese translation there. And there are some strings that are not very good. They could be improved. And I wanted to improve these translations. I wanted to retranslate these translations and send them again. I don't have any way on Transifex or in GitHub to make these translations. I would like to translate all the. I don't even know where they are. I don't even know in which project they are in Transifex. They are scattered all over the projects and the extensions and things like that. And I don't know where they are in Transifex. So I would like to retranslate them and resend them to the projects. And I don't have any way to do that.
Okay. You know what? How about I go ahead and address those two questions, and then before I jump into Transifex?
Sure, absolutely. I think it'll be more of an organic answer, like as part of a of the whole presentation. Let's say let's start with that, and then if you still have doubts, we can still talk about it at the end. Any other question, non-Transifex related? I saw Antoine had one on docs. Maybe I can reach out offline to you on docs. Here the main topic is around the open source community projects. We also work on docs and their localization. It's a different team, as Andy was saying. But we can certainly follow up with you on questions around that. And if nothing else, Koi, you want to take control?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to I'm requesting to control. Please give me access so I can share my desktop. Okay. So hi, I'm Koi Pham. I'm one of the support person for Microsoft community localizations. So as I see the people who join this conference call already familiar with Transifex, so I just quickly go through the how to the Transifex, the basic feature in Transifex, and then I will address Bruno's questions. So okay, give me a second. Let me share my screen. Can you see my desktop?
No, not yet.
Okay. I present desktop. Present. Oh, I keep clicking present and it doesn't do anything.
Do you want to use my machine and Transifex on my machine?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see if you can control remotely. You want to give it a try
okay, let me. But the thing is, I need two separate accounts to show the audience. One is like before we joined Transifex, and one already in Transifex. So let me try one more time. What's going on? Present desktop. Present. Okay, I'm sorry. It's okay.
No worries.
So let's see how I'm going to access to your.
Okay, share my desktop primary monitor. I'm going to share it again. Let me see when you see, and then try to get access. And at that point, I'll just leave it to you. If you want to log out, log in, do whatever.
Okay, sure.
So let me see.
Yes, I can see it. Request control.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you go around and?
It's very slow. How to? Wow. Yeah, it's respond. The response is very slow. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. It seems better. So so let me open the. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So quickly how to join Transifex. So if you already have an account, that's great. You can log in. If you haven't had an account, so there's a so Transifex. So if you haven't had an account, click try for free and then follow the instruction how to join. It should be quick. Basic Transifex give access to give your account almost right away. So how to join Microsoft projects? So there's a direct link that you can go and see the number of current projects from Microsoft. We have the URL in the deck. Basically, I'm typing here is transifex.com/Microsoft OSS and then public.
Oh, sorry. You have a different keyboard.
Oh.
Yeah, it was already there. Microsoft OSS.
And then and slash public.
Okay. Slash. Go ahead.
So in here that you can see that you can see the private project there because Outdoor has an admin access to our Transifex account to our projects. So for public, you can see you only see the available projects from Microsoft, and you can click. So here we currently have 3 group of projects. We have SQL Tools on Linux, Team Explorer Everywhere, and VS Code. So and then you can click on each project, and then click join. Oops, what happened? Oh, yep. Sorry, because Outdoor already logged in. So
yeah.
and already
you want to log out from my account and
yes.
Try.
So let's go back to Microsoft.
Sorry. Let me help you with it.
We'll go
Transifex,
the public, right? So you can click on one of the current project. As you can see here, that's it's only displaying 3 group of projects, and the brief explanation that the way we organize that VS Code, you see 4 projects because we group 4 different components, and then in Transify that we organize that each component will have its own project. But for the number of products, we currently have 3 products. So sorry, what I think I did click some. So you click on let's see, VS Editor, and
You want to go down?
That's I'm trying to move down. Oh,
Yeah,
I think they changed the UI. Okay, I think it's so earlier it has the word joy team. So now I think they changed it to help with the translation. So and then you can log in with your account. So and you should automatically have you don't need approval as once you request to join the project, it will be automatically grant access to the project. So how to translate, and so let me log in. Come on. Okay, I was just going to use your account, Aldo.
Okay, so sorry, let me
Oh.
then again. Yep. You want to go to VS Code?
Okay, right. So yeah. Oh, okay. Can you stop
Go
there?
ahead.
So once you log into Transify, you can see the Lisa project on the left bar. Please note that there's a bug for Internet Explorer that it would not display the left bar, so you should either use Edge or the Firefox or Chrome. It will display the left bar without any issues, and then click on the project to sign up. Then click on the languages, and select the language. For example, select French here. And also there's a they still already there's a bug that is not displaying the top part correctly. So then you I'm trying to move down. Oops. So you can and then you can click and then you click translate. So there's in translation in the translation in this view you can select either the individual file, or you can select all resources. And so this one already fully translated. So normally if there's some translation, you can click on untranslated, and it filter the string that haven't got the final translation. So I'm going to address Bruno's question in this area. So yes, it's right now we in Transify we cannot filter the string that already had the initial translation, and but not in the final in the final string target string yet. So we asked Transify for a feature that you should be that all the everyone could also filter the string that already have the suggestion but require voters. And also another feature that we should be able to filter the string that we gave the initial translation, like Bruno question that he had to go through all the string to be able to see the last time which string he hasn't and provide the initial translation. So that's the two features that we are currently asking Transify to improve the editor here. So when you start the translation, there are a lot of options that you could do. So you can start the translation from scratch by clicking Suggest Translation, and then start typing your translation here. So and then you click Save. So when you type the translation, I'll just type it, and then it's like a while to.
Because I'm not enabled on French.
Oh no, you're an admin. You should be able to type any translation. So.
Well, and there's no string to translate.
Oh, you know what? Sorry. There's no string to select yet.
One thing here in this new interface I would like to ask, because in the old interface I could move from one untranslated string to the other using tab. I typed a suggestion, and then I typed tab and went to the next one. In this new interface, I don't have tab anymore. How can I do that?
Okay, so either you could switch back to the old editor, but it's will discontinue in July 8th. But I would take that feedback and ask Transify to enable tab, because I also myself I find that tab is very convenient for us to move to go to the next string instead of using the mouse click click on the next string. So yep, thank you for that. So for initial translation, you can click suggestion and then type your translation and click save. So your translation will be the initial one would not go into the final translation, as you already might have figured out that it needs votes. So with all our project, we currently set 2 votes. So each translation has the initial translation count as 1 vote. And then you just need the second vote, so you can to get it into the final target strings. Another option of translation is you can leverage the machine translation. So when you click the suggest translation, and you can click on to the icon machine translation here, then it will give you the machine translation, and then you can edit. So you edit this translation if it's close to the sometimes it's close to the human translation. You can just change the few word and then click save. If you don't like it, then you can delete it and then just type your initial translation there. And the third option is, of course, the vote. Let me delete this one. I don't want to. So the third option is the vote, as you see that other people already provide the translation. You can review them and click vote. If you like their translation, you can click vote. So that would help their translation to get into the target string. The fourth option is leverage the fuzzy match. Let me see if this string has the fuzzy match. So we add in Transify, we add our existing translation memory from other projects. So if the engine see the string closer to the existing string, the current string, so then it will give us the fuzzy matching. So and the range is from 60% to 100%. So if you for, let's say, if we didn't have this one didn't have the 100% match and then only have the 74%, then you can click on the copy the string and then edit just like a machine translation. You click on that, it will copy the string. Let me copy this translation into the editing the suggestion here, and then you can edit, update, change in the field word, and provide and then click save, and then it will become your initial suggestion. So do you have any question? Sorry, let's see if there's another question from Bruno. Remind me, what was the second question, Bruno?
Was I have the insiders build, and
right.
I have the strings that should be better translated, right. And I wanted to retranslate the strings.
Right. So you the first thing is you can search for the translation text. So you can type, select the translation text and type the string. You can type a few words. It should be, let's see, for example, if let's say I search for the word error. So I'm searching the string in the target. So you select the translation tag and type the word error. So and yes, right now we can only search within a project in Transify. We cannot search across VS Code, for example. That's also that's an improvement that we are asking Transify to update it, the editor in the future. So and if you run into issue that there's too many string with the too many similar string in Transify, the best way is send the issue to us. We should be able to help you to find out which string, which the exact string in Transify that you can change the translation. And please be aware that it will need the same. You need to have at least the same number of votes before your translation to get into the target string. So if the existing one already have three votes, then your translation must have at least 3. Or more before the new translation become the final one. And then we do the pull request on weekly basis. So then you can see, for VS Code that's twice a week, and then you should be able to see the new translation once your translation get into the final one. And then we make a pull request into GitHub, then your translation will show up in the product. Should be show up in the product the next day.
I see two problems here. The first one is that I don't know in which project the string is. Because when I open Visual Studio Code, I see a string and it's anywhere, and I don't know what it is. This is one problem, and the second problem is that the new translation will never come into the final product, because when I give a new translation, I will have just one vote, and the other one will have already 2 votes, and it will be there, and nobody will see the new translation. It will be always in the second place, and it will never come into the final product.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to address the second part first. So that's a good point. I think that I will get back. I will provide feedback to Transify and see is there a way that we could you could advertise your translation for voting, asking for votes, so it can become it will be in the final target strings. For the first part that you don't know where it is, or it could be come from Visual Studio or not. If you couldn't find it in VS Code here, I think the best is email us, communicate, open an issue in GitHub, or use any social channel, or later on I will show that you can also send through Transifex. Send the string to us, and then we should be able to help you to find out where the string is from. So,
is there a way to get a file from GitHub, or make changes in the files from GitHub directly, and maybe make a pull request or something like that?
So you can find the file in GitHub. So you can clone GitHub and then get the file in there. But we recommend not to make a pull request in GitHub, because our source of truth is Transifex. So if you make a change in GitHub, and the translation in Transifex would override that GitHub. So we want all the translation to be stored in Transifex. You can look into GitHub, but please do not try not to make a pull request in GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So another feature here is the concordance, that you can search for the term that, for example, like what happened? Okay, so if you want to see the term error, how error is translated in this project, then you can type the English term here, and then click search, and then it would give you it will find all the instances of error, of the translation of error in the project. So it come handy if you see enough, if you have a feature name you're not sure if we should localize or not, then you can type it in here, and then to be able to find. So what you can see here is error. It has been translated as error in the target. So I mentioned earlier that you can communicate it to Microsoft via Transifex. So you can to be able to do that, you click on the icon of your photo or any image on the top right hand corner, and click messages. And then click compose. And so if you want to contact Aldo, then you can type Aldo D in here and then send him a message. Or for Microsoft support, you can use Microsoft L10N. That's our account in Transifex. And then send us a message. And again, if you know any of us and want to communicate us directly, you can just type in there, and then we can respond to your message. So after your translation, so after you provide the initial translation, you need number of votes, as I mentioned that right now we set as 2 votes for each translation. So your initial translation as 1 vote, and then another member to vote on that, then it becomes the target translation become the final translation in the target string. And the last, so if the string have the same number of votes, the last one will become the final. If you want your translation to be sure in the target, you need more votes. So the more vote, the better your translation stay in the final strings. For request language, so there's two ways to request a new language. So at the beginning, before you join, when you join the project, you can. It takes more time for me to do that. So I've just tell you. Before you join the project, when you click, you select. You know what? I think that I should do that. When you join the project, you click languages, and then you can request a language, and then you can select the new language that you'd like to. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Just type.
We are only 2 minutes. Yep. So it's okay. Although we only have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So click languages and then request the language, and then we so we will triage. So not all languages will automatic. So when you request a new language, we don't automatically approve the language. We have to triage. So there are two factors into that. First, that our development team has to approve that there's a new language. The second, that we need at least 3 votes. Also for new language, we need at least 3 votes before the new language to be added into the project. And once you join project, you can also request for new language by you go to the Microsoft public page. When you click on the project, and there's a button request a language, and then you can select a new language and click request. So and then we go the new language will be go through the triage process, just like I mentioned it earlier. So that's all for the demo of Transifex. Do you have question? And Bruno, I will get back to you on the feature that you mentioned in the call today. You asked in the call today. And I'm sure that those will also be helpful to all the contributors as well. So I guess we don't have any question, but feel free to send you to mscinto Microsoft.com or through to Transifex, that's Microsoft L10N. You can post any question, including Transifex in there. So, and then we will try to address the issues as soon as we can.
Okay. Thank you, Khoi. If nothing else, I would close it here. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I guess we have some questions to follow up, and we will do that directly. Also, again, if you have any feedback, you have our email here, and you have all the list of all channels on the on our Wiki landing page. Feel free to let us know what you think, what the issues you're finding, and also help us, advertise even more the projects. Again, thank you very much, and we hope to have an update in a while. But for now, thank you very much for your collaboration, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And thank you for your contribution. Right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.